Okay guys, so today we're going to be looking at some extra practice for your test on Friday, so tomorrow. So we're going to go through these together. So looking at numbers 1 through 3 first, the directions tell us to use the graph to solve the linear system. So whenever we're solving a linear system using a graph, all we need to do is find where the two lines intersect, and that will be our solution as an ordered pair. So looking at number 1, we can just look to see where these two lines are intersecting. So we can make a dot right there. And we can see that the coordinate is going to be at 2 on the x and 3 on the y. So once we see that, we can write our solution as an ordered pair. So our ordered pair would be 2, 3. Looking at number 2, again, we have to find that coordinate where the two lines intersect, which is right here on the graph. And that's at 2 and 1. So we can write this as a coordinate as well. So this coordinate would be 2, 1. Now looking at number 3, we again just have to find that solution and solve, so we have to find the coordinate on the graph, which is right here. We can find our x value and our y value. So then we can write our solution of -4, 4 in the blank, because we have -4 on the x and 4 on the y. So now for the directions for 4 through 5, it says to state the best method to solve each system of equations and then solve the system. So looking down at number 4, we see we have x plus y equals -3 and x minus y equals -5. So because these equations are set up in a way that the x's line up, the symbols line up, so the plus and the minus, the y's line up, the equal signs line up, and the number after the equal sign lines up, we can tell that we are going to have to use elimination to solve it. So we can write the word elimination in that blank to the right. So now the directions also tell us to solve the system. So looking at the system, we can see we have a plus y and a minus y. And because of that, we know we can just cancel those right to start and then add the two equations down. So when we add x plus x, we get 2x, and when we add -3 plus -5, we get -8. And then we have to solve for x. So we would divide both sides by 2. We get x equals -4. So now that we found our x, we have to find our y. So to do that, we can plug -4 in for x into either of our two equations. So I'm just going to plug it into that first equation. So I'm just going to rewrite it, x plus y equals -3. And I'm going to substitute in -4 in for x. So when we do that, we get -4 plus y equals -3. And we want to solve for x, or for y. So we need to add 4 to both sides, and we get y equals -3 plus 4 gives us 1. So we have y equals 1, and x equals -4. So we can write that as an ordered pair, which would be -4, 1. So now moving on to number 5. It gives us x equals -3y plus 13 and 4x plus 3y equals 16. So we could notice right from the start that first equation, x equals -3y plus 13, is already solved for x. So because of that, we can just plug that in for x into our second equation. So when we substitute x in for the x in the second equation, we're substituting that -3y plus 13 in for x. So when we do that, we have 4 times negative 3y plus 13, which I'm going to make sure to put in parentheses, plus 3y equals 16. So now we have to solve for y. So to start, we have to distribute that 4 through the parentheses. So when we do that, we have negative 12y plus 52. And then we can bring down the plus 3y and the equals 16. So now we can combine like terms on the left side of the equals sign. So when we do that, we have negative 12y plus 3y, which gives us a negative 9y. And we can bring down the rest. So plus 52 equals 16. And now we want to solve for y. So we have to get the y by itself. So we would subtract 52 from both sides. When we do that, we would bring down the negative 9y, and then 16 minus 52 is negative 36. Then we can divide both sides by negative 9. And we get y equals 4. So now that we found our y value, we can find our x value. So the easier of the two equations to help us do this is the first equation. So I'm just going to rewrite it. X equals negative 3y plus 13. And then we will plug in 4 in for y, so we get x equals negative 3 times 4 plus 13. Bring down x equals negative 3 times 4 is negative 12 plus 13 is x equals 1. So now we have our x and our y values, so we can write that as an ordered pair. So we have 1, 4. And we said at the beginning that we were going to use substitution, so I'm going to write that in the blank as well. So we have substitution. And that was because we had one equation already solved for x. So we use substitution when the equation looks like that. So now we can move down to number 6. Number 6's directions tell us to solve the linear system graphically. So to help us solve a system graphically, the easiest thing to help us is to list our m and our b. So that first equation that gives us y equals 2x plus 1, we can easily list our m and b because it's in y equals mx plus b form. So our m in this equation is 2 and our b is 1. On our second equation, we can't list our m and our b until we solve this system for y so that it's in y equals mx plus b form. So to do that, we would have to subtract 6x from both sides. So we would have 2y equals negative 6x plus 2. And then we would divide both sides by 2, so everything on that right would be divided by 2. And we get y equals negative 3x plus 1. Then we can list our m and our b. So our m here is negative 3, and our b is 1. So now that we did that, we can graph our two lines. So graphing the line y equals 2x plus 1, we know our b is 1, so we'll start at 1 on the y-axis, and our m is 2. So that tells us to go up 2 and to the right 1. So we can do that a few times. So that our line is straight. Draw our line with our rulers, which I do not have on the iPad. And then label our line. So y equals 2x plus 1. Then we're going to graph our second line. So our second line had a y-intercept of 1 and a slope of negative 3. So we're going to put a point right on 1, and our slope of negative 3 tells us to go down 3 and to the right 1. You can do that a few times. in both directions. And we can draw our line with our ruler and label it. So our original equation was 2y plus 6x equals 2. And then we can find that intersection point, which will be the solution to the system. So the intersection is where these two lines meet, which is at 0, 1, which we'll fill in the blanks.